This is an example of one way to balance a chemical equation. The important thing to remember is that we need to have the same number of atoms of each element on the left side of the arrow and on the right side of the arrow. And so one way to do this, which involves a lot of writing, but it helps you to really keep track of what's going on, is to just sort of make a tally underneath of all the different atoms that you have. So I'm going to draw a line at the arrow because that's where we need to make it balanced. The number of, for instance, barium atoms on the left has to be equal to the number of barium atoms on the right. And then I'm just going to, in order from the left to the right, I'm going to write down the elements here. There's barium and oxygen and hydrogen and sulfur. There's oxygen again, but we already have him in the list. So those are the 4 different elements we have. And now I'm just going to take inventory. I'm going to look at BaO2. And I'm going to write down that there's 1 barium atom and there are 2 oxygen atoms in that molecule. And there are no hydrogens and no sulfurs. Then I'll look at the next one, H2SO4. There's no barium in that. There are 4 oxygen atoms, 2 hydrogen atoms, and 1 sulfur atom. Then I look at barium sulfate, BaSO4. There's 1 barium and 4 oxygens and no hydrogens and 1 sulfur. And then hydrogen peroxide, H2O2 at the end. There's 0 barium atoms, 2 oxygen atoms, 2 hydrogen atoms, and no sulfur atoms. So now I'm going to just start at the top. Often works out, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to check how many barium atoms do I have on each side. Well, I can see that this one's okay. I've got 1 on the left and 1 on the right, so that's fine. And then I go on to oxygen, and I see that, well, I've got 2 plus 4 is 6 on the left, and 4 plus 2 is 6 on the right. And next to hydrogen, there's 2 hydrogens on the left and 2 hydrogens on the right. And on the left there's 1 sulfur, and on the right there's 1 sulfur. So this equation tricked me even. I started doing this expecting that there would actually be something to balance, when in fact it is already balanced. But hopefully that illustrated a method for counting atoms on each side of the arrow.